Well, here we are then. What are we now? 28th January. Still no signings this January transfer window. I mean, we're not the only club, of course, that saying that because it's a difficult month. It really is in terms of getting business done. I'm not a fan of it. I've said it a few times before. January, it's a weird month to try for clubs to operate in. It always feels like everything waits until the last moments, but it can be very stressful. And that doesn't bloody help West Ham because we're playing on deadline day, aren't we? We've got Chelsea on the Monday night, which may be a good thing in some regards because it does mean that West Ham are going to be under a bit more pressure to get things done. Possibly we won't wait until the final day. We'll try and get things done a little bit sooner, but it may well be out of our hands. That's the problem. You've got so many people involved in deals now, agents and etc. Everyone's involved. It just causes so many issues and there's a lot of stakeholders involved. So it's a lot of issues in terms of trying to bring players to the club, especially January. It just feels like a lot of hurdles to overcome. But it's becoming a little bit frustrating for West Ham because we are still without a striker. And let's be honest, that's kind of our priority position at this stage. We are really lacking that department. Of course, we've got Jared Bowen coming back and Quasentia Somerville, but still we're lacking that forward man, aren't we? We've got no Mikel Antonio for the rest of this season. Nicholas Fulkrug's probably going to be out for the rest of the season, it appears. So it's something that we need to address. Now, before I go into the video, I just want to say a couple of things, actually. I want to say a big thank you for the warm welcome for Tom. Obviously joined our channel yesterday. He's going to be doing some more videos later this week. He's going to be involved in more and more videos going forward, and eventually he'll be doing his own shows as well. So it really does mean a lot to have that sort of warm community feel. You know what I mean? And welcome him in nicely. The comments have been great, so I really do appreciate that. Also, recently we got a video. I should have probably just checked it before I did this recording. Got a video, got over 500 likes. And I did ask if we could get some more likes. So really appreciate that. And if we could try and get around that number again for this, that'd be fantastic. So if you're not a subscriber and you haven't done so already, then please do. It only takes a few seconds to do that. It may well be that you watch this channel quite a lot and you just don't realise you're not a subscriber. So if you could do that as well, we do appreciate it. And also say hit that thumbs up. That would be really appreciative. And also we get if we can try and get to that sort of 500 mark again, because that was a real big achievement for the channel. So we really do appreciate it. It's been a very difficult transfer window for West Ham, in particular because of the change in head coach and also the backroom staff. That's taken a fair amount of time and effort for the club to get obviously sorted out, and it feels like it's kind of distracted things. Then, of course, we've brought in Graham Potter, we've brought in Carl McCauley, which is I'm delighted about. But what it's now done is then mean, right, we've got a new set of eyes on this. We've got a new head of recruitment is now coming in, and I feel like that's causing us to shift our attention away from players that we possibly were quite close to getting. We're now actually going, hang on, well, we're going to look at other options. I think that's what's happened. And I think that's what's happened with Brian Brobbey, because we were told that was very close. The player was very keen to come. There is a few issues with Ajax to sort out, but it did feel like that deal was moving forward. And now it feels like West Ham have actually put the brakes on that a bit. It's not over. I don't think none of these talks are completely done. The issue we've got with Ajax is that Ajax are very much insistent on an obligation to buy. They're happy to loan him for the season, but obligation to buy at 30 million euros. That's a bloody big risk. That's a real big risk. And I think it's one that West Ham are just unwilling to take at the moment. We're open to doing a decent loan fee, etc., for the 6 months, and then say we'll have the option to buy, but we want to see what we're getting first. But Ajax are not budging on that. So it looks like West Ham are looking elsewhere. Graham Potter, Carl McCauley, as we understand it, really want Evan Ferguson. He is now considered the #1 target. This has come from EXWHUEMPLOYEE. So I'm just going to give you a quick rundown of what X has said on that. This is quite big news, really, considering Ferguson, obviously a highly rated striker. I really rate him. I really like Evan Ferguson. I've always been a big fan of him. The only concern is I'll come to him regarding his injuries, but we'll come to that in a minute. So this is from EXWHUEMPLOYEE. Evan Ferguson has emerged as the #1 forward target for the club. This is something we've been reported for most of the window, and something again was clarified on the podcast. The main concern, however, that he hasn't not featured for Brighton for a few weeks. In fact, has missed their last 7 games due to injury. The club are trying to decide whether it's now worth going forward to sign him on loan. With Potter stating recently, he only wants players who can start immediately in the team. Potter, of course, gave Ferguson his debut for Brighton and knows the potential he has. A decision's going to be made in the next couple of days whether they're going to push ahead and get that done. It does feel like, with Ferguson, that we are the front runners here. I think that's because of the Potter effect. Obviously, he knows Graham Potter well from Brighton, McCauley as well. I feel like that's going to help us in good stead if we want to push ahead with it. I'm a little bit concerned. I'm going to be honest. Evan Ferguson, as great as player as he is, I'm concerned about signing another injury-prone striker, especially if we have to make a commitment to Brighton, which I don't think we need to do, though. That's the thing. I don't believe that we need to worry too much in that regard. But I'm a little bit concerned about his injuries, because what we're hearing from Brighton is he's got one of these mysterious foot injuries. We've had it with Max Cornet, Nicholas Fulkrug's had it recently. Tadebo's kind of got that scenario where we don't really know what's going on. I don't want us to go for a player and we've got this mysterious injury that could keep him out for a long period of time. It just isn't ideal whatsoever. I'm just having a look at his record here. So he's featured 12 games so far this season, 1 goal. 14 total for this season so far. Last season, 36 appearances. Season before, 25. And then, so we're going back a few years. I mean, it's not horrific reading. The issue that we've got with Ferguson is that it appears that it seems to be just a reoccurring thing that he always seems to get some form of injury. It doesn't feel like, it always feels like an injury around the corner. So I've got a few concerns regards to that when it comes to him. Because I'm concerned about West Ham again committing, going full pelt for a top striker and it backfired, and we just can't afford to keep doing this. How many more times have we been in a situation where we've gone out and gone for our sort of top striker and thinking, here we go, at last West Ham are going to finally put this striker curse to bed, and then we end up getting another injury prone situation where it just it's demoralising for everybody at the club. It's horrendous in terms of outlay. How much money we've lost, as I say, on strikers. It's quite frightening. It's something we just want to get right. However, it's strange, isn't it? Because although Graham Potter has only been here for 2 weeks, just over 2 weeks since he arrived, I feel like I've got a lot of trust in the guy. If Potter is saying, look, this is the man, this is the guy we've got to go for, I have full faith he'll be a good signing, I feel like the club do need to back him. I really do. The Brian Brobbey thing, I do get as well. I feel like it is a big commitment. I think asking for 30 million euros in the summer when we don't know what we're going to get. Again, his injury record isn't fantastic. He hasn't been in good form. It's a gamble, a big gamble. Let's be honest, West Ham and gambles are not good, especially when it comes to strikers. Our record is horrendous. It's just something I'm really wary. Do you know what I mean? I feel like, because we're going through now this transition into the new era of Graham Potter, we've got a new head of recruitment. It does feel like everything's freshening up. This is a real good opportunity to get something like this put to bed and to get our recruitment spot on. The last thing we want to do as West Ham is get this appointment wrong. We don't want to go and get another striker that's going to join that long list of strikers that we go, oh, that was just a total disaster. We spent all this money, a nightmare. So it's going to be interesting. I think the Ferguson one is more likely now. The reason I say that as well is because Brighton aren't keen to do a sale. I think Brighton were happy to keep on to Evan Ferguson, as far as I understand it. The player wants to move. The player wants to be playing football, which they completely understand. But obviously, they have been saying throughout the whole of this transfer window, we are not making any decisions right until the end, because we want to assess our situation. And they're within their right to do that. They're in a position of power here. Why would they're not in any rush to have to sell? They're not or loan, and they don't want to sell Ferguson. As far as I understand, they're not really in the market for doing that. But the player wants to be playing, and he's too good to not be playing, let's be honest. I'm excited by him in terms of his ability. As I say, my concerns in terms of the injury record. I think it's because as well, I'm just so scarred, like we all are, because of West Ham and how bad we've had it over the years of striker recruitment. I mean, it is literally like a running joke in football how bad West Ham are at dealing with bringing strikers in. So that's my only fear going into this. My only fear. But however, if Potter, McCauley are saying, look, this is fine. We're confident this is going to be a good signing, I think we have to go for it. The issue we now have got is if we are making Ferguson our target, and if we are the front runners, which the media in general seem to be suggesting that we are. Obviously, EXWHUEMPLOYEE's put an update up saying that he is now our number one target. This is what West Ham want to go for. I do think we are in a position to land this player. But it still doesn't mean that I'm not concerned. The other one that's quite interesting is Andre Silva when it comes to the striker situation. So we've had this deal with Silva from right at the early stages. So I feel a bit sorry for him, actually. So he's, you know, he wants to move. We've agreed a deal with Leipzig. It's all been basically sorted. You know, we were happy. We all agreed to finances. The finances of the player are sorted. The player's keen on the move. So it's all kind of ready to go. But what West Ham have done, which is kind of, I get it, and it's quite sensible. I feel a little bit for the player, because he's probably saying, I don't really know what's going on here. But basically, we said, great, that's fine, but we're looking at other options. We're not committing to anything. So we have got a backup option in Andre Silva should anything not happen, and we're not able to get the Evan Ferguson deal done, or Brobbey doesn't happen. So there are other alternatives there, and obviously with Silva being there, sort of ready-made and ready to come over, it could be something that we trigger. Again, that will be a short-term loan situation within the view that we're possibly looking at making permanent if we feel that that's best interest of the club. Evan Ferguson, I'm happy to go with a loan. If West Ham are able to negotiate a loan-only deal with an option, i.e. that we get the first refusal in the summer if we want to buy him, because let's just say he comes to West Ham and he's outstanding, then we've done ourselves a good deal here. And ideally, what West Ham want to do is get a deal done where you can agree the fee early on and say, look, we'll get it right and we get first refusal. But Brighton are shrewd, you know, they're not stupid. They're no mugs. They'll know what they want to do. They'll know the value of Ferguson. They'll know that he is I would consider 50, 60, maybe even possibly £70 million striker. He's a very, very highly rated striker in the Premier League. He just hasn't had much time this season, has he? He hasn't been had much opportunity. And that's purely on the basis they've got a new manager in, and they've got Danny Welbeck and João Pedro doing well. He's just struggling to get into the side. And then, of course, he's got this ongoing injury situation at present. I can't deny it. There are concerns there, but I will say that if West Ham are to get Ferguson over the line, I'd be pretty excited as well. I think it'd be one of those statement signs as well, because you look at Ferguson, you think, you know, this guy has got it all. He's a real top player, and you know, I just think that we could be landing ourselves here a real top striker, as long as we can manage him well, manage his injury situation. That's the only, as I say, that's the only gripe I got. Everything else, and I'm very happy for West Ham to go forward with it. So look, this is where we are at the moment. This has been a bit of a frustrating transfer window. I granted, it does feel like it's been stop-start, hasn't it? With a few things. Oh yeah, something's going to happen. It doesn't. Something's going to happen here. It doesn't. It's been a little bit frustrating. I do feel there's a few factors, I say, at play. Probably the biggest one is being the fact that we have changed head coach. We've changed direction. We've got new recruitment people in. It has delayed things a bit, but I still suspect West Ham will do business. I don't think we're going to come away from this January empty-handed, although we have been here before. So, but this time, I don't know. I've got a better feeling around this time. I've got a little bit better feeling. I do think we might possibly be landing a striker and possibly a centre back and midfielder. But let's wait and see. We'll see how it pans out. Come on, you irons.